Welcome everyone to the February 29th, 2024 special meeting of the Clear Lake City Council. The time is 3:30. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll?
Councilmember Purdock,
Here.
Councilmember Kramer,
Here.
Vice Mayor Overton, Mayor Claffey.
Here. All right, let's rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Purdock, can you lead us?
Absolutely. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, moving on to business. Item number 1, consideration of resolution 2024-8 approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement from the 2023-2024 CDBG Mitigation Resilient Planning and Public Services Program in the amount of 1.5 million. City Manager Flora.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, council members. So as you know, we've been relying on CBG funds for a while to fund the majority of our code enforcement activities. And we are in a position where, well, currently over the past year or so, they've been funded through some disaster recovery, this exact same program. And this program we're eligible for because primarily of the sulfur fire. So the 2017 disaster, there's a number of allocations that we're directly eligible for. And then countywide in 2018, as a result of the Mendocino Complex fire, there's some additional allocations of funds that there's a direct allocation for Lakeport, but since we're in Lake County, we're eligible for funds under 2018 as well. So it's competitive, but with a much smaller pool. And that was explained in the staff report. And there's some additional information in the presentation if you had a chance to look at it. But this is also the program that funded the sulfur fire, road rehab project, Lakeshore, San Joaquin, all that. We got funding for that was dedicated to Oak Valley Villas, and some that will also be dedicated to the Clear Lake Apartments on 18th Avenue. But there is some funding left over that they haven't been able to allocate. And so basically this is a additional round in order to try to clean up all the funding that they have available. So we were planning on applying for CDBG funds through the normal round this year, but HCD is updating their software for applications, and they have not been able to implement that in a timely manner. So they're pushing those applications out basically an indefinite period, probably sometime this fall or winter. But fortunately for us, we are in need of some additional funding, and we are eligible to apply for this sort of second round. So 1.5 million is the maximum we can apply under this program. There's no real changes to the scope, everything we've been doing over the last number of years that you're familiar with. But of course, we would like the council to go ahead and approve this resolution authorizing us to submit an application. And I think the deadline is the end of March, but it's what they consider over the counter process. And so it's our goal to get, well, this application and the next item as well in the next few days, so that they could be awarded, because they're awarding them on a rolling basis. So I want to point out, I'd be happy to address any additional questions you have.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions from council?
No.
Seeing none, any questions from those in the chamber? Any comments on Zoom?
There are no comments on Zoom.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to
Sure.
council.
If unless there's going to be some discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-08, a resolution approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement and any amendments thereto from the 23-24 funding year of the state CDBG Mitigation Resilient Planning and Public Services Program, and read by title only.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Kramer, a second from Councilmember Purdock. All those, please vote in your portal.
Letting me. Aye.
There.
There we go.
Mine is not refreshing. I'm saying aye too.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Votes unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item 2, consideration of resolution 2024-09, approving the application for funding around water infrastructure planning. I'll cut it short. City Manager Floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. So, this is essentially the same larger pot of funds. They do have, an allocation separated out for planning purposes. So there's kind of the planning pot, there's the public services pot, which code enforcement falls in, and then they have, infrastructure funding available as well. But what we'd like the council to consider is applying for 400,000 related to water planning. And as you know, the city of Clear Lake serves a community that qualifies either as disadvantaged or severely disadvantaged. We have concerns for some of the present high water rates. There's concerns for reliability of existing age infrastructure, the high cost to replace that, and frequently the lack of coordinated planning between water systems themselves, as well as the city's land use planning and capital projects. And so we thought this would be a good opportunity to utilize some of the CDBG funds to do some data gathering and analysis related to the water system issues in the city.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions from council? We'll open up to public comment. Anyone in the chamber, please step forward. Please give us your full name and city of residence.
City of residence.
Mhm.
I live in Nice. Oh, I'm Keith A. Hart from the State Water Company. I live in Nice, but I'm representing Golden State Water Company, which is one of the water companies that would be affected by whatever the plan is. So I just am curious, if the city's not in the water business, what this money would be used for.
City Manager, do you just want to summarize briefly again what the money would be used for?
Sure, yeah. So while the city doesn't have a water supply permit or supply water to any customers, the city council is ultimately responsible for the concerns of this community. And so, I mentioned some of the very high level concerns. So the recommended approach would be a number of data gathering and analysis. So, I mean, combining or coordinating the collection of policies and procedures, assets, water rights, contract entitlements, regulatory permits, that type of information. Some, high level analysis, perhaps some hydraulic modeling and high level engineering analysis, that type of stuff. So
Thank you. Mr.
just
Ahart?
looking at the city as a whole.
Understood. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments here in the chamber? Seeing none, any comments on Zoom?
There is one comment on Zoom.
If you go ahead.
Why, from John Prime, the question is, why are the water companies being taken over?
City Manager Flora, just to clarify, this isn't specifically to take over the water companies. This is just to do some planning and some research, correct?
Correct.
All right. Any other comments on Zoom?
There are no other comments on Zoom.
Thank you. I'll bring it back to the council.
You want me to do it again?
Oh,
huh?
please do.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-09, a resolution approving an application for funding and the execution of a grant agreement and any amendments thereto from the 2023-2024 funding year of the state CDBG Mitigation, Resilient Planning and Public Services Program, and read by title only.
I have a motion from Councilmember Kramer, a second from Vice Mayor Overton. Looks like it's up in the portal, so please vote in your portal.
Deputy Clerk, oh, there it is. Would you like to announce the vote?
Motion passes with unanimous vote of the council.
Thank you very much. All right, with no other items on the agenda for this special meeting, we are adjourned.
That could be a record.
That could be.